Suspect arrested after alleged arson at Pennsylvania governor's house. This happened overnight.
The suspect charged with setting fire to the home of Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who was there with his family at the time. Our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, is in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, with the latest. Good morning to you, Aaron.
And good morning to you, Robin. You can see the yellow tape, the boarded up windows. That's the spot where police say the arsonist broke glass and hurled a Molotov cocktail while the governor and his family were asleep inside.
This morning, an arrest after police say an arsonist tried to kill Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro by setting fire to his official residence. The fire blackened damage evident, part of the mansion left uninhabitable.
This type of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other.
The governor and his family were gathered Saturday evening with 24 others celebrating the first night of Passover. Shapiro sharing this photo of his Seder plate. At 2 a.m., that very room was engulfed in fire.
The governor's residence reporting a large fire in the dining room on the first floor. They can see fire out the windows.
The governor and his family were asleep inside, police rushing in to rouse them.
State troopers assigned to our detail woke us up and told us we had an emergency and needed to leave immediately.
Authorities now charging 38-year-old Cody Balmer of Harrisburg with aggravated arson, attempted murder, and terrorism.
He clearly had a plan. He was very methodical in his approach, without a lot of hurry.
This is the part of the fence the suspect breached to make his way inside the governor's residence, where he set the fire with an incendiary device. Investigators cut away this part of the fence so they could do DNA testing.
No one was injured, but the attack left the governor, who has 4 children.
I don't understand who the fuck has smoke for Josh Shapiro of all fucking people. You know what I mean? He's just out of his mind, right? Like this dude.
Shaken.
Lori and I are overwhelmed by the prayers.
Like, also, I did find out that he also had a hammer and he had a plan to kill him with a hammer, which I think is I guess becoming like the fashionable weapon to try and assassinate Democrats and Democratic leadership in general. Very strange choice. David DePipe also famously had a hammer as well and wanted to kill Nancy Pelosi with a hammer, and tried to kill Paul Pelosi with a hammer. His mom already came out and said he went off his medication. The cops refused to help when she called them. Yeah, I saw that too. I just don't understand why you would have this much smoke unless you're just like a totally insane person. He admitted that he would have used a hammer to kill him. Didn't even try to say he used a hammer to break in or something. Yeah. No, I saw it. No, there's plenty of people who would have this kind of smoke. For Josh Shapiro? Wait, are you being for real or not? I can't tell. No, the hammer thing is real. That is literally real. David DePipe also used a hammer against Paul Pelosi.
And the messages of support that we've received from all across Pennsylvania and all across the United States.
Police say this.
And before people say, "Oh, is this related to the fucking person who Josh Shapiro refused to prosecute or whatever, that they ruled a suicide even though she was stabbed in the back of the head 20 times?" No, I don't think so. I don't think that there's any like real logical through line here for anything. It just probably is a dude off his meds who wanted to who wanted to make a name for himself, maybe, or just like for no real reason.
Suspect confessed and told them he would have.
Wait, you blame the one northern?
Okay. Let's kill him. Let's kill this guy. Let's beat him to death with hammers.
That's the reason why you think. Okay, stop. Don't even joke about this. Okay. Suspect in arson at Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence has been denied bail. A man who allegedly scaled an iron security fence in the middle of the night, eluded police, and set fire to the Pennsylvania governor's mansion was denied bail on Monday as he faced charges including attempted homicide, terrorism, and arson. Cody Balmer spoke with a public defender at times as he appeared in court late Monday afternoon after being released from a hospital where he was taken after an unrelated medical event. Balmer, 38, told the police he had planned to beat Governor Josh Shapiro with a small sledgehammer if he encountered him after breaking into the building, according to court documents. A motive for the attack, including whether it had anything to do with Shapiro's politics or religious beliefs, wasn't immediately clear. A man who allegedly scaled an iron security fence in the middle of the night eluded police and set fire to the PA governor's mansion and was in police custody at a hospital after an unrelated medical event, state police said on Monday. By the way, this is another ultimate, like, we had him on our radar moment where they didn't just have him on their radar. They literally had him in custody, it seems. Cody Balmer told police he had planned to beat Governor Josh Shapiro with a small sledgehammer if he encountered him after breaking into the building. Again, insane to just like admit that that is your intent. Your intent was to literally use a sledgehammer that you brought with you. No plausible deniability whatsoever. Just straight up, he was like, hey, by the way, this hammer, I wasn't using this hammer to break in. I was using this hammer to break his skull if I were to find him. Let the record show that I had intent to murder the governor of the state, which is crazy. All right. He was being treated at a hospital, which police say was not connected to this incident or the arrest. A motive for the attack, including whether it had anything to do with Shapiro. Balmer's mother told the Associated Press on Monday that she had tried in recent days to get him assistance for his mental health issues, but nobody would help. She said her son had bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. The AP was not able to verify that information. Why did they say that? He wasn't taking his medicine, and that's all I want to say, Christy Balmer said, speaking at the family home in Harrisburg. The fire caused significant damage and forced Shapiro and his family and guests, including other relatives, to evacuate the building early Sunday. The residence, built in 1968, did not have sprinklers. Harrisburg Fire Chief Brian Enterline said, that's crazy. That the governor's mansion did not have fire code? How the fuck does that happen? Shapiro said he, his wife, and the 4 children, 2 dogs, and another family had celebrated Jewish holiday Passover in that very room Saturday night. It was built in the 1800s, dog. Yeah, but like, isn't there... Aren't you supposed to do that? Like, aren't you supposed to have some kind of fucking fire code regardless? Like, even if there are no sprinklers? Anyway, they were awakened by state troopers pounding on their door. They fled and the firefighters extinguished the fire. Balmer had walked an hour from his home to the governor's residence. Damn, walkable cities? Yo, Pennsylvania's like that? Shit, man, I'm sorry. Pennsylvania, I take it back. That is a remarkably walkable infrastructure. The fact that someone could just walk from their house to the governor's residence like that? No, it's not. PA is not like that, Lamau. I mean, maybe the place where they were at, where the governor's mansion is, our cities are much older than cars, so yeah, they're very walkable. Yeah, I mean, I know Philadelphia is walkable. Very walkable. It is in the big old cities. The chatters are dumb suburbanites. I'm from PA. He was on the side of a highway the whole time, guaranteed. Some parts of PA are walkable, like Pittsburgh or Harrisburg. Anyway, let's continue. He admitted to harboring hatred towards Governor Shapiro in a police interview. Wow. Shocking. According to a police affidavit that did not expand on that point. Afterwards, he returned home, where police said they later found clothing he wore at the time and a small sledgehammer. Balmer turned himself in at the state police headquarters after confessing to a woman he had formerly had a relationship with and asking her to call the police, which she did, the affidavit said. Authorities did not say whether he has a lawyer. He's expected to be arraigned once he is released from the hospital. Shapiro says he's unbowed. Hours after the fire, emotional Shapiro, who's viewed as a potential White House contender. Oh, God. Okay. When we were in the state dining room last night, we told the story of Passover, the exodus of Jews from slavery in Egypt and freedom. I refuse to be trapped by the bondage that someone attempts to put on me by attacking us as they did here last night. I refuse to let anyone who had evil intentions like that stop me from doing the work that I love. Police say suspect hopped security fence, forcibly entered the residence. Ballmer had faced criminal charges over the past decade, including simple assault, theft, and forgery, according to online court records. He had also financial problems in recent years, including a lender filing for foreclosure on a modest Harrisburg house he owned in 2022 over missed mortgage payments. Court records show a deed transfer shows Ballmer sold the house for $60,000 last September to settle the debt. He's the father of at least 3 children, with 2 women filing court complaints seeking child custody agreements in 2012 and 2023. Fire badly damaged a large room. President Donald Trump told reporters Monday that Ballmer did not appear to be a fan of his either. Trump. The attacker basically wasn't a fan of anybody, he said. And certainly, a thing like that cannot be allowed to happen. Okay, I don't even know what the situation is, but I could see him being, he's a radical centrist. The guy who arsoned the Pennsylvania governor's mansion was brainwashed by the most toxic political force in America, centrism. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh no. Oh yes. Oh no, but also, oh yes. Oh my God. Oh, we are such a fucked country, bro. No, you can't have a Yang ganger doing arson. What is going on, bro? That's 2020. Yeah, it's been years, but it's funny that he was a both sides have really bad ideas kind of guy. Oh my God. You guys say pre-watched, but if you were to ask me, I would have thought this guy was like a fucking, I would have thought this dude was like, maybe like an anarchist or something. Like, no disrespect. Like, who has deep and severe mental issues. I would have never thought it would be a Yang ganger with deep and severe mental issues. That is, wow. Especially because of his target. Like, who the fuck has this level of smoke for Josh Shapiro? You know what I mean? Luigi also was a bit of a centrist himself. What the fuck? What is this? This you just now? Yeah, that got bro pussy wet. Saying an arsonist may be an anarchist is the most obvious guess you could make. Yeah, that was what I initially thought. Especially because, like, I feel like if you're in the game of doing like a political assassination, right? Like, making Josh Shapiro your target seems very much like making Josh Shapiro your target of political assassination seems to me like you're not in the business of serious big stuff, right? You're not like, even if it was someone like Fetterman, there's a clear-cut motive that I could ascribe to, Whereas like Josh Shapiro personally is just like a wild choice. Do you understand what I mean by that? Because, like, he was briefly entertained as a VP candidate choice and was like, sure, pro-Israel, but fucking who wasn't? You know what I mean? He wasn't like people made hay over the thing that he wrote when he was in high school. But I feel like the average Democrat has the exact same opinions about Gaza. So it's not like he had anything beyond the isn't it his governor? Yeah, but governors are usually some of the more popular political figures in general. In spite of Josh Shapiro's popularity diminishing, I feel like governors themselves are not exactly in the crosshairs. Like usually they are more popular and even go above partisan politics in general, which is why it makes sense that he would be a fucking it would be a centrist. I guess, yeah. It was probably a proximity play. Yeah. They've been targets. See Gretch? Yes. Gretchen Whitmer is a perfect example of like a governor that was gaining national prominence due to her actions during a time of unprecedented volatility during COVID. And even then, there was a lot of pushing in that direction from, let's just say, federal law enforcement agencies in terms of organizing and getting people together to take action, if you know what I mean. Yeah, speaking of Gretchen Whitmer, incredible. It's never been more over. She should have just taken a normal photo. This is literally dumber than that. Loki would be pertinent to reference anti-Semitism as a possible motive. No, I guess that, yeah, you're not wrong about that. That could be a reason. She was actually reading. Yeah, no, definitely. Hence the Greenblatt interview on CBS. Oh, I didn't even see this. Let's see what ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt had to say.
Based on what you know,
he's gonna be like, this is the same thing that Mahmoud Khalil did. This is pro-Hamas activity. They came after Shapiro because the person was, and I say this with no evidence whatsoever, but who needs evidence? He was Hamas.
no. Would you call this a hate crime?
Well, Major, it's certainly a case of domestic terrorism. I think it's very clear that this individual who targeted the governor and his family while they were sleeping in their home, the governor's residence, intended to inflict harm on this person. He said, as you mentioned at the top, that he harbored hatred. He wanted to find the governor and assault him with a hammer. This is certainly not normal. For it to be a hate crime, we would need to know that the intent was to target Governor Shapiro because he was Jewish or some other characteristic. I'm not sure that that's entirely clear, but what is clear is that attacking an elected official, attacking someone because of their politics, is demented, and it's domestic terrorism, plain and simple.
And for what you and the ADL have been going through the last couple of years, does this raise a kind of sufficient level of anxiety to make you fear whether or not it is, under the actual definition of the law, a hate crime? It's something troublingly adjacent?
Oh, absolutely, Major.
He's waiting. Dude, he's waiting to see if he's a registered Republican or not. That's why he's like, well, I don't know. We got to check if he voted for the Great White Hope or not. Because if he's a Trump supporter, then I can't really go against the big guy. You know what I mean? Let me tell you, if I catch him on the Columbia Students Registry, I'll tell you what I really think. I'll tell you what I think must be done. Okay? But if he's like, I don't know, has voted in the past for Donald Trump or something, I'm going to have to moderate my position. You feel me? Oh, Jesus.
Let's keep in mind that this happened on the first night of Passover. The governor had hosted some 80 people at the residence celebrating the Jewish festival when we remember that we were once slaves, were brought out of Egypt. And so it's a time that's sensitive for Jews, and it's a time when throughout history there have been attacks on Jewish communities because of their faith. Right here in the United States, just a few years ago, the shooting in Poway, California, where a man burst into a synagogue with an automatic weapon. Thankfully, he didn't, load it correctly and it misfired. Only one person was killed, but many more could have been. And that was 6 months to the day of the attack at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pennsylvania, when Governor Shapiro was the Attorney General and prosecuted that case. So look, Jewish people are feeling on edge. We've seen a historic rise of anti-Semitic incidents. Frankly, Major, next week we're revealing the 2024 data. It's not a pretty picture.
Oh, brother. Oh, brother. I'm surprised that he didn't somehow tie this back to Colombia protests. What? Bro, this is so painful listening to you not even address the blatant anti-Semitic elephant in the room here. Burning a prominent Jewish family's house down on Passover. It's so fucking obviously anti-Semitism. Maybe you really are an anti-Semite. No, I think that there is a very high likelihood. I literally said, as far as motives go, anti-Semitism could be one of the major factors. What are you talking about? What? What do you... hello? Yeah, dude, I'm anti-Semitic. You caught me. You're right. Fucking 5-month subscriber. Does Braindead Chatter clearly didn't hear that this dude was diagnosed schizo off his meds? Yeah. I literally said, in terms of Josh Shapiro's even like support for Israel, he doesn't like go above and beyond in comparison to the average Democrat. Therefore, this probably isn't even like a person who is like, oh, I'm doing this as a pro-Palestinian act or some shit. You know what I mean? Did Greenblatt really radicalize this chatter against you? Yes, maybe. Or I think he just didn't understand what I was saying.
So there's a reason why this resonates. There's a reason why everyone is on edge.
Why would they go after Shapiro and PA when Fetterman's their senator, if that's the case? Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Misunderstanding and also more so ranting at the news guys. Okay, but that's an insane thing to fucking rant against. The fuck? Maybe you really are an anti-Semite is a crazy fucking assertion to make. Especially when like accusations such as that one don't just stop with an accusation like that. It as I've been explaining every single day, it moves beyond that, especially under this administration, don't you think? Let's not just throw shit like that around. Anyway. From Cody's Facebook, perfect for today. Wait, what? Did you guys find his Facebook? Oh my God. I don't know what the motivating factor is here, but as far as Josh Shapiro goes, like, he's a centrist Democrat, collaborated with Republicans at times, and he's not like, I mean, yeah, he's pro-Israel, but not in a way where it's like above and beyond. Maybe he only went after him because he was walking distance, ban on incoming walkable cities. Yeah. Also, luckily, nobody died. You know what I mean? I like to think that it's the radical centrism. Centrists eating their own. I wouldn't even think that it would be a right winger that would go after Josh Shapiro. That's why I said, like, it could be motivated by anti-Semitism. I guess right wingers hate Josh Shapiro, do they? Yeah, he thought Josh Shapiro wasn't centrist enough. Dude specifically hated Shapiro, looks nutty enough. Yeah. He said true centrism hasn't been tried. He was a general anti-establishment normie during those Yang posts, post to BLM and green anarchist stuff. I can see that. I don't know. We'll find out soon.
Attacked Governor Shapiro with a hammer had he found him inside. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News Balmer has posted disdain for Democrats. And George, they're also not ruling out whether...
That dude was not political, man. I can tell.